Why do people quit right before the finish line? Why do relationships get destroyed when they finally feel safe? Why does opportunity get avoided right when it arrives? Psychology finally has the answer. Most people think self-sabotage is about fear of failure, but psychology reveals something far more unsettling. The most common form of self-sabotage is not fear of failing. It is fear of succeeding. And understanding the difference changes everything about how you see yourself. Your brain has one primary function above all others. Not happiness, not achievement, not love, safety. And safety to the brain means one specific thing: familiarity. The brain does not distinguish between a comfortable situation and a good situation. It only distinguishes between what it knows and what it does not know. And success, real success, is unknown territory. No matter how much you want it consciously, your subconscious brain experiences it as danger, as a threat to the equilibrium it has spent years carefully maintaining. Psychology calls this the upper limit problem. Every person carries an internal thermostat, an unconscious set point for how much success, happiness, love, and good fortune they believe they're allowed to have. This set point was established early, in childhood, through experiences, messages, and environments that told you, directly or indirectly, what your ceiling was. And when life starts exceeding that internal setting, when things start going better than your set point allows, the brain triggers sabotage behaviors to bring things back to a familiar level. An argument in a relationship that was finally going well, a missed deadline right before a major breakthrough, a sudden and unexplainable loss of motivation at the exact moment momentum was finally building, picking a fight, making a mistake that feels almost deliberate. These are not coincidences. These are not character flaws. These are your brain pulling you back to the temperature it knows, the level it considers safe. The second psychological truth behind self-sabotage is identity conflict, and this one is perhaps the most powerful force of all. When you have spent years, sometimes decades, seeing yourself as someone who struggles, someone who almost makes it, someone who tries hard but never quite gets there, success threatens that identity at its most fundamental level. Because if you succeed, the story changes. The narrative you have been living inside no longer fits, and your brain will choose a familiar story over the unfamiliar success every single time. Not because the story is good, because it is known, because it is you, or at least, it is who you have always believed yourself to be. Psychology shows that people unconsciously self-sabotage most intensely in the areas where their identity is most fixed. The person who has always been the struggling artist destroys their breakthrough moment. The person who has always been unlucky in love ruins a relationship that was finally healthy. The person who has always been almost successful makes the one decision that keeps them almost. Identity is the invisible ceiling, and no amount of external opportunity can permanently break through a ceiling that exists inside the mind. The third truth is something psychologists call visibility anxiety. Success means being seen, being watched, being evaluated at a higher level than before, being someone people have opinions about. And for people who grew up in environments where visibility meant criticism, where standing out meant becoming a target, where being noticed brought negative consequences, success activates a deep and ancient survival response. Stay small, stay quiet, stay invisible, because invisible is safe. And the brain will sacrifice almost any external achievement to maintain that internal safety. The fourth truth is the burden of expectation. Once you succeed, people expect you to keep succeeding. The standard rises. The pressure increases. The possibility of disappointing people becomes real in a way it was not before. And for people who are deeply sensitive to the judgment of others, that anticipated burden of expectation becomes so heavy that the brain decides it is safer to never reach the level where those expectations are placed. Failure is painful but predictable. Success is terrifying because it creates a new baseline you now have to maintain forever. The fifth and deepest truth is unworthiness. The quiet belief, so deeply embedded that most people never consciously examine it, that good things are not really meant for them. That success is for other people. That happiness is something they will always be almost reaching, but never quite allowed to hold. This belief was not chosen. It was absorbed from early experiences of not being enough, from environments where love was conditional, from messages, spoken or unspoken, that taught you your value was limited. And the brain protects that belief with every tool it has, including destroying the very things that would prove it wrong. The way out of self-sabotage is not more motivation. It is not more discipline. It is not trying harder or wanting it more. It is the slow and deliberate work of expanding your internal thermostat, of sitting with success rather than immediately destroying it, of noticing the moment your brain starts to pull you back, and choosing to stay in the discomfort of the unfamiliar instead of retreating to the comfort of the known. It is reminding yourself again and again until you finally believe it, that you are allowed to have good things, that deserving success is not arrogance, that being seen is survivable even when every cell in your body insists it is not, that the story you have been living inside was written by experiences that no longer define you. Your brain sabotaged you because it was protecting you, but it was protecting an old version of you, a version that needed that protection once, a version that does not exist anymore. Tell it, you are safe now. You are allowed to succeed. And this time, you're going to let yourself. Share this with someone who keeps destroying good things right before they become great. And comment below, have you ever sabotaged yourself at the worst possible moment? I read every single one.